Okay, so get this. You guys have sent in a ton of articles about this new Captain America movie,
Brave New World.
Brave New World. That's right.
Yeah.
Uh, excerpts from Nerdist, a huge deep dive on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It seems like you really want to go full Marvel expert on this.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
By the end of this deep dive, you're going to be dropping some serious knowledge bombs.
Oh,
That'll make the biggest fans say, wait, how did I even know that?
I think that it's not just about like knowing all the plot points, you know?
Right.
What's really interesting here is how these sources are pointing to something bigger, you know?
Okay.
Like bigger than just another superhero movie.
Interesting.
It's giving political thriller
Hmm.
questions about like power and authority, almost like what Secret Invasion wanted to be,
Right.
but like on another level.
Yeah, I get, okay. Interesting intrigue already.
Yeah.
And speaking of power dynamics, let's talk about Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Okay.
This Wikipedia entry that you sent in really paints him as an underdog this time. No super soldier serum,
Yeah.
no automatic respect. Like, he really has to earn that title.
He does. It's true. It makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Like the world's still dealing with what happened with Thanos and the blip.
Oh, totally.
People are questioning everything,
Uh-huh.
especially people in power. And it's like Sam's facing this double challenge, you know,
Right.
like proving that he's worthy of that shield,
Right.
but also rebuilding trust in a world that's lost faith in heroes.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
And to add to that pressure,
Mm-hmm.
Nerdist is describing Brave New World as this crazy mix of a war film
Yeah.
and an international political thriller.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, there's this villain Sidewinder
Yeah.
who's causing global chaos.
Right.
But get this.
What?
Sam also has to deal with the President of the United States,
Oh my goodness.
who just happens to be Red Hulk.
President Red Hulk? That's
Yeah.
wild. Can you imagine those headlines?
Seriously.
But it goes deeper than, you know, just like a Hulk smash situation.
Okay.
We're talking about Thaddeus Ross, same guy who was the general in The Incredible Hulk,
Yeah.
then Secretary of State.
Right.
Now he's the president.
Wow.
And he can turn into this like massive rage monster.
That's a lot.
It really like blurs the lines between, you know,
Yeah.
political power and superhuman abilities.
Makes you wonder who really is in charge.
It really does. Who really holds the reins in the MCU?
Wow. Okay, so we've got Sam Wilson, this underdog Cap, trying to stop the world from falling apart while the president can literally turn into a giant red rage monster.
That's a lot.
Oh, and did I mention that the leader's back
Oh, yeah.
after 17 years?
It's 17 years.
The Nerdist article said that the director is so excited to finally bring back Tim Blake Nelson.
As Samuel Stearns.
Yes.
That's awesome. It's interesting, though, how both like Nerdist and the director are focusing on the excitement of the leader's return,
Right.
but they don't really address what his presence actually means.
Oh, that's a good point.
Think about it.
Okay.
This guy is obsessed with knowledge and power. What kind of havoc can he cause in a world that's already on edge,
Right.
dealing with technology that can like rewrite reality?
Oh, man, that's scary.
It is pretty scary.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Remember that whole controversy about the character Sabra?
I do, yeah.
This Wikipedia entry goes into detail about how people were concerned about some potentially harmful stereotypes.
Yeah, I remember that.
But Marvel has apparently reworked the character.
Oh, wow.
They even changed her name,
Really? What's the new name?
Ruth Bat-Seraph.
Okay.
And they've changed her background a little.
Okay, well, it will be interesting to see how they handle this character,
Yeah.
especially given like the sensitive political landscape,
Right.
both within the MCU
Yeah.
and in the real world. It
Yeah.
seems like they're trying to, you know, address those concerns
Right.
while still introducing this complex and powerful character.
For sure. And hold on, because things are about to get even more Hulk-centric.
Oh, no.
It looks like Liv Tyler is back as Betty Ross. We haven't seen her since the original Incredible Hulk movie.
Now, that is a callback. I did not see that coming.
Right.
This seems to confirm what we were talking about before.
Okay.
Brave New World is directly engaging with what happened in that movie.
Interesting.
That often overlooked corner of the MCU,
Yeah.
the leader Red Hulk, now Betty Ross. It's almost like they're saying, hey, remember that movie?
Yeah.
It mattered.
It did.
Yeah,
Wow, it adds a whole new layer to this story.
it does.
And it really reinforces this idea that Brave New World isn't just a sequel to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right, it's building on those themes.
Yeah.
But Anthony Mackie himself is quoted in the Wikipedia entry as saying,
Okay.
this is a brand new story with its own set of challenges.
Wow. Okay, but, we can't resist a little behind-the-scenes drama.
Of course not.
Right, this Wikipedia entry spilling all the tea.
Let's hear it.
Major reshoots, script changes.
Oh my goodness.
They've even added new characters late in the game.
Really?
There's this report from industry insider Jeff Snyder
Okay.
about some not-so-great test screenings.
We have to take those reports with a grain of salt.
Of course.
But it definitely adds to the intrigue. You know,
Sorry.
what were they changing?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
And does it mean that the movie's in trouble, or are they just trying to make it perfect?
Yeah, good questions.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, like, were those reshoots because of what audiences were saying? Like, maybe they felt like something was missing, or
Yeah.
the tone wasn't right or something?
Oh, totally. Well, whatever the reason, it just makes me even more curious to see, like, what the final product is.
Me too.
You know, but let's take a step back from all that behind-the-scenes drama for a second.
Okay.
And really dig into something that kind of hit me while I was reading these articles.
Okay. What's that?
It feels like this movie is really exploring this whole idea of power.
Power.
Yeah, and how it shows up in different ways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We see it, like, on a global scale with Sidewinder.
Right.
He seems to, like, thrive on just chaos.
Yeah, total disruption.
Then you have President Ross.
Uh-huh.
His power is tied to his position,
Right.
but also his ability to turn into Red Hulk.
Right, and then you have Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
It's a totally different kind of power.
Totally.
It's not about, like, brute force or,
Right.
political maneuvering.
It's about his heart.
Right. It's his moral compass. It's his willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, in a world that's lost faith in, like, traditional power structures,
Yeah.
can someone like Sam even make a difference?
Can he? It's a good question.
It is.
That's like the big question this movie is asking, isn't it?
Yeah, what does it even mean?
What does it mean to be Captain America in a world where
Yeah,
hero, villain, right and wrong, it's all kind of blurry?
totally shifting all the time.
The Wikipedia entry even mentions that Sam gets caught up in this big international incident.
Oh,
So it seems like he's going to have to make some tough choices.
wow.
Choices with global consequences.
Okay, so high stakes.
High stakes, yeah.
Oh, and we can't forget about the leader.
The leader, that's right.
Nerdist really highlights how he's a villain whose power comes from his brain.
His intellect.
Right, his ability to manipulate and exploit information.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
It makes him a scary opponent.
Especially for Sam,
Right.
who relies on his instincts and compassion.
Yeah, it's like a total contrast.
A clash of ideologies.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out on screen.
It will.
Speaking of fascinating clashes,
Yeah.
Nerdist really emphasized the movie's unique blend of genres.
Oh, yeah.
They even said it's like a war film meets an international political thriller.
Ambitious.
It is ambitious.
Makes you wonder how they're going to pull it off.
Right, like are we going to see huge battles like in Endgame?
Yeah.
Or is it more about espionage and politics like in Winter Soldier? Yeah, who knows?
We'll have to wait and see.
Whatever they do, I think we can all agree it's going to be wild.
Definitely.
Speaking of wild, that Nerdist article was describing Sidewinder
Oh, yeah.
as a true force to be reckoned with.
For sure, they even quoted Giancarlo Esposito, who plays him.
Oh, really?
He said Sidewinder is a badass
Oh, wow.
and that the role is really physical.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like he's not just some mastermind,
Yeah.
like behind the scenes pulling strings.
He's going to be right there in the action.
That makes him even more dangerous.
Especially for Sam.
Especially because Sam doesn't have those enhanced abilities.
Like Steve Rogers had, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot more unpredictable.
It does, for sure.
It makes you think, is Sam going to need help to beat this guy?
Well, speaking of help,
Yes.
remember Joaquin Torres?
From Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's right.
Yes.
Looks like he's officially taking on the Falcon name.
Oh, wow.
And from what I've read, it's like a true partnership with Sam.
Oh, that's
Not like the dynamic that Sam had with Steve.
Okay, interesting. So it's like Sam is mentoring Torres,
Uh-huh.
like how Steve mentored Sam.
It's like that passing of the torch.
It's legacy, but it's also maybe saying
Yeah.
Captain America doesn't have to be a solo act.
Right? Maybe you need backup.
Totally. Maybe even heroes need support.
Especially in a world like we see in Brave New World.
Okay, so to recap, we've got global conflict,
Yeah.
a president who can turn into a Hulk,
Right.
a super intelligent villain pulling strings from the sidelines,
Yes.
a new Falcon
Stepping.
sharing the leadership.
What else could this movie throw at us?
I don't know. What else could they possibly do?
Well, there's still the mystery of those reshoots.
Oh, yeah.
And those script changes.
Right.
Was it just like polishing things up, or
Right.
were there bigger issues they had to fix?
Yeah, and there are those rumors about the tone.
Uh-huh.
Is it darker, more political than other MCU movies?
It could be.
I don't even know what to expect at this point.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, it's a gamble, but it could really pay off.
It could.
Remember, people have been saying that the MCU has been playing it too safe lately.
Yeah, they have.
So maybe Brave New World is their chance to like shake things up a little bit. Explore some like more grown-up themes, you
Yeah.
know.
Take some risks.
Yeah, take some risks, exactly.
And that would make sense with all these connections back to the Incredible Hulk.
It all ties together.
It's like they're shining a light on this forgotten part of the MCU.
Right. Like, hey, remember that movie
Yeah.
where Banner like went on a rampage
Yeah, in Harlem.
and fought a giant green monster? Well, guess what?
What?
Those events had consequences.
Oh, yeah, big time. And now Sam Wilson is dealing with those consequences.
It adds a whole other dimension to his story.
It really does. He's not just carrying on what Steve Rogers started.
Right.
He's also dealing with decisions that were made way before he even picked up the shield.
And it shows that actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Even in a world with superheroes and villains,
You would think that they could just, like, fix everything.
you'd think so, right?
But nope.
But those consequences can have ripple effects.
Yeah.
They can change the world in ways we don't expect.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, let's try and summarize what we learned from these articles.
Okay.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Brave New World looks like it's going to be this political thriller
Yeah.
with a superhero twist.
Uh-huh.
Sam Wilson is stuck in the middle of a world that's falling apart.
Right.
We've got a president who can turn into a Hulk.
A Hulk president?
And then there's this super intelligent villain
Yeah.
who's causing chaos everywhere.
See, you're not just listing plot points, you're
Ah.
understanding the deeper stuff.
Okay.
Like, what does it mean to be powerful?
Okay.
What about legacy? And what does it even mean to be a hero in a world that's lost its way?
Right, that's what makes this movie so interesting to me.
Me too.
It's not just about the action and the fights.
Right.
It's about those bigger questions.
Exactly. It's about challenging how we think about things like power and responsibility.
Yeah, what makes a true hero?
So now that you've been briefed on all the intel from these articles,
Uh-huh.
here's a final question for you to think about.
Hmm.
With all these connections to the Incredible Hulk, do you think this is Marvel's way of finally acknowledging this kind of forgotten chapter of their universe?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or is there something even bigger going on?
I honestly have no idea.
Right.
But you know what? I'm definitely going to be looking for all those connections when I finally see the movie.
Me too. And who knows, maybe those connections will lead to even more surprises.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, one thing is for sure, Brave New World is going to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
So buckle up, get ready, and most importantly, keep those theories coming.
We want to hear what you think.
And where this deep dive into the MCU might take us next.